Captain Eric, I loved you so much, but you killed me. Why?
Oh, and this hangout is on air is now live. And welcome to another taping of Lip Service. If this is your first time, and I hope it isn't, watching this show, Lip Service is the show about comics. Okay, now some of you would say big fucking yip. Okay, what makes us different is we don't go for the big five. Okay, we go for the independent flavor, the up and comers. They're out there, but you just don't see them because two certain rodents own the airways and most of media. So this is where we in Lip Service fit in. And I am your host, Stats Jenkins. And today's guest is Tedd Walley of Voodoo. Once again, Voodoo
Maverick Publishing.
Voodoo Maverick Publishing. Okay. And okay, so Tedd, welcome to Lip Service.
Thank you, brother.
Okay, so now first of all, where did you get the name Voodoo Maverick Publishing?
Well, I am the sole employee and the owner and the writer and the illustrator and the inker and the letterer and all of it. So that's where the Maverick side came of it, is that literally in my books, I do all of the work for it. I even do the website for it as well. Okay. And I wanted something that had a reflection of where I'm from and where I live, which is New Orleans. So that's where the voodoo part came in. So
okay. Okay, which makes sense.
Makes sense now.
Oh yeah, definitely. You know, voodoo. You know, hey, I would have said, okay, you know what? Let's just go ahead and call it a gumbo or crawdad, something like that. You know.
No, man. I want the magic part of it. The magic that is comics, man.
Oh, right, exactly, and and the fact that you are doing it all on your own is the story about for most independents, and for most of you out there in our audience who don't know, most independents do not have a whole fleet of corporate people underneath them to belt the story out in 30 days. It just like Terry here, it's just like ourselves. We're it. I say code everything because that's exactly what we do. Everything. Yep. Okay. And while you're watching, somewhere on the screen, somewhere in or around here, there'll be a little thing talking about like and subscribe. Do so because we're here out here to get the word and we're trying to get it down every week. We'll have somebody new to present to you, and also you'll see somewhere down at the bottom on that screen down there it'll say donate. So whatever you can give to us to keep this show going, we greatly appreciate it. Be it $1, be it $5, whatever, it'll all go towards production of the show. Because believe it or not, what runs this is us out of our own pocket. The computer that is now helping tape the show. I scratch built, and if you don't believe me, honestly, yeah. And for those of you who do not believe me, go down to Poor Man's Computer Repair and see what I've done. Now, and on that semi rant, So
get started.
So some days I wish I could just be on a permanent rant. Might get a little bit further. So what else? So what does voodoo entail? What's the main? What was the main impetus that got you into this?
Well, it actually several years ago, a bunch of my mates got together and they wanted to do a comic. So one of them was writing it, one of them was drawing it, lettering. They kind of dished out the chores.
Okay.
And they got hit deep into production of it, and one of the writer actually asked, because I was working in an ad agency at the time, he asked for my feedback on their book and how they were going about getting it printed and all that kind of good stuff. And when I looked at it, I told him, I was like, man, I said, guys are kind of working hard and not really producing as much for your efforts, and
right.
You're not getting a good return on your investment with the printers you're going to, all kinds of stuff. Mm-hmm. And he unfortunately got a little upset about that and made the comment after a discussion occurred, a heated discussion occurred, made the comment to me. He's like, well, you know so much about this, why don't you do your own book? So I did.
Hey, I understand that. And it's funny that you bring that up about the return of investment for a book or for any independent publishing, because that is the main reason why most independents don't make it. It wasn't up until the last couple of years that the printing costs actually came down, because now instead of either going overseas and getting thousands of books or trying to keep it within the States, and printer agencies force feeding a certain number of copies, that made it hard. And now all of a sudden, now you got companies all over the place with a minimum as low as 25 copies, and now you can justify the printing costs. So
well, now it's even getting bigger in terms of some artists that were doing well with physical prints of a book, shifting it all to an online format. And
right.
Atomic Robo just switched to all digital, and that was a successful indie book.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, which and there is the other aspect of it now. Now with everything pretty much, you could practically almost run everything through your phone or through your tablet. Now you got the option of going strictly digital. Now, my question to you is this: now, with the onset of all this, where do you see yourself with voodoo going? Do you want to cover both bases, or do you see yourself just being a strictly a digital format?
I'm covering both bases because I look at it in terms of a sale is a sale.
Okay.
And with digital printing, prices very, very cheap, where you can get a lot of stuff print on demand. Mm-hmm. It's like you're saying, I don't have to get thousands of copies of a book. I can get 25 copies of a book and still make a return on my investment.
Right.
So I'm all about trying to give the people that want my content as many avenues as that they would prefer.
Right.
So we have it, digital. It just went online for Amazon for Kindle. Mm-hmm. It's been in the mix waiting for Comixology's approval process.
Lots of luck on that one.
Yeah, I know. So I'm in the mix for that, and that's the big thing. But I've got it as a digital PDF that people can buy off the website if they want to eliminate the middleman.
Right.
That's what Comixology gives you anyway. So yeah, and then just raise some more money and get some print copies made too.
Right. Okay. And that brings me to a very good question, because with Amazon buying up, who did they buy up? Was it Comixology? No.
That's what I thought it was.
Yeah. With them buying up Comixology, to me, I look at it as now they're the digital version of Diamond.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm one of those few people who kind of backdoored Amazon to where our physical copies are there on there. So to me, where do you see do you see it now being, instead of being more open, it's being more closed? Because let's face it, Diamond is a monopoly.
Yep.
Sorry, Diamond, you are. You want to produce numbers to say, oh, there are other distributors, but how many of those other distributors actually get the doggone chance to get into other shows or other stores?
Every indie publisher, or rather not publisher, but distributor, like the last one I remember was Cold Cut Press.
Yeah.
And then they got bought out, and the guys that bought them out wound up shutting everything down. And that was like the largest indie distributor that I could find. So yeah. Diamond's got the cake, and I figured it was only a matter of time before someone probably inadvertently, because I don't grant Amazon that much forethought about it.
Right.
But yeah, it was only a matter of time before the digital market starts, seeing that same kind of.
But yeah,
because Comixology is a good example of it. Is that the process for their approval system. I submitted in the beginning of December. I'm still waiting.
Exactly.
Amazon, and that's it. What we were actually talking about was that it was really funny because Amazon, when I submitted the book for the Kindle for Amazon, it was approved within 24 hours.
Right.
And online for sale. So I don't know, man. They need a better system to get the books out there.
Well, see, to me, that's the whole crux of it. Why even? Because I look at it like this: why even bother? Why even bother going through Comixology when basically you'll have a better go of it just getting the Kindle comic creator, putting it all together, and off it goes.
Well, what I discovered with the Kindle process of the book is a lot of people, because we're sending it all out through social media and stuff like that, and everybody sharing the links and stuff. And I got a lot of good hits off of it, but everybody kept emailing me or private messaging me or things along those lines saying, I don't use the Kindle. I read it off of Comixology. And so that's that whole thing of they've set up the market so it suits their product. But the thing with Comixology is you get that PDF, but now there's that whole big deal of, do you own the PDF or do they own the PDF? So for the short term, you want to buy my book in a PDF format, eliminate the middleman, come to the website, and download it off the Dropbox, and we're ready to go.
Exactly, and your model is the same as our model. When everybody was started going all digital crazy. Yeah, well, to me, that's exactly what it is. I'm old school. I sit back and say, well, you know what, and I got into a little debate with my inker / treasurer Daragoza, because I'm like, well, you have not seen a digital copy fetch a couple of $1 million yet. And my thing is, I know it's going towards that, but how do you authenticate that you actually are the very top 100 people that got the digital copy of whatever, and you know what I'm saying? And that's so. And then more importantly, who would care? I mean, who would care if this particular copy is the 100th one when It to me it's not the same as, okay, this is Batman #1. Bam.
It's hanging right on the wall.
Exactly. And
this is the 100th PDF that got put out.
Right. See, I'm sorry. It doesn't make sense. And I'm glad I'm talking to you, because for finally, I'm getting a chance to explain to our viewers to show that there is a business side to all this.
Oh, there is, most definitely.
You know,
I mean, I'm lucky in the sense of I worked for about 20 years in the world of advertising, design, and marketing. So I mean, a lot of that stuff rubbed off on me, and that's why, going back to the conversation that got me started in all this, is that I looked at my buddies when they were putting together their comic, and I looked at it and asked them the first thing, what's your business plan? What is it that you look to get out of this? What's your goal? Your mission statement? And they're talking about how they wanted to generate, money off of it. Well, that's fine. I'll talk about money. No need to shy away from it.
Right.
But what they had set up was not going to make them money. They were doing this fantasy book when back in the day, that time, Marvel was putting out Conan, and it was only putting it out so that they wouldn't lose the rights to it.
Right.
Lord of the Rings hadn't even come out yet. Nobody bought this kind of stuff. And all they had to do was go to their local comic shops and ask them, what titles move? And here's the idea that we have. What do you think? Because they do more than just sell those books. They track sales of this book, and they know their business.
Right.
So, there's a bit of a business to it. And, the first thing you got to do is decide for yourself what your goal is, what you want to get out of this. So my goal was to put out a book. I put out 4 books. So it's changed for me now. It's like I just want to tell them a story that's in my head and just get it out there. And any sales or likes or whatever, interviews like this, man, that's all frosting as far as I'm concerned, man.
Okay, and this is why we know from here we doing what we're doing, to get the word out there and to show that, hey, this is what's up, because for every sale that you give to an independent, there's one that the rodents don't have as far as that big marketing machine. And here's a very good question, since now I can actually talk to a marketing person who has the mainstream publishing instead of just telling the story and entertaining. Have they changed it to where it's these books are nothing more than marketing tools to try to hype the next movie?
Actually, I mean, I noticed that trend happening back with, of all things, Wizard World San Diego. And I want to say I started observing it around the time, like, say, the new I say the new Star Wars movie, but when they were doing episode 1 of Star Wars. And that's when I started noticing that, it started going more towards media. And that even indie guys like us, they have positions at these companies that track indie people, and they're looking for that pre-packaged, we could do something with this. This is to overuse a phrase, this is a potential franchise here. This is something we can both profit off of. And if that's your bag, God bless you. But, for some people it isn't. Some people, they don't want to do that, big mainstream thing with their baby. So I get it. And I'm kind of in agreement with that as well. Is that I know that the job positions exist where that's all they do is they keep their finger on the pulse of the indie guys and seeing what's the big thing. And what they're looking for is someone that's got a big draw. They're an indie guy, but they have lots of viewers, lots of hits on their sites, and that kind of stuff. They're looking for a guaranteed thing.
Well, it's funny, and it's funny that you should say that, a guaranteed thing, because in comics there is no such animal. Okay, some people say Watchmen 300. Okay, well, you know what? They got lucky.
They didn't know that was what numbers they were going to put up when they put those out.
I mean, exactly. I mean, when you put something out there, you don't have a clue. You just hope, okay, hey, somebody says, ooh, I like it, and they don't say it's a piece of shit. Oh, pardon my French, but that's what you kind of go for. And if you can kind of build that audience bang, you got it. But then it goes back to what we were talking before we went live. Oh, and speaking of that, hey folks, there we have a little Q&A there. So if you have questions for Ted or for me, hey, jot them down and we'll answer. Or you can also tweet us at Kiss Me Comics, okay, and we'll follow up. And now getting back to all that. So how do you? It's funny that we should say this, but it's hard. How do you ensure a so-called guaranteed thing in this industry?
Well, that's the thing, man. There is no guarantees to it, and you just have to coming back to it's whatever your goal is, man. Whatever it is that you're trying to get out of this, and be aware that is written in pencil. Pun intended. We do, and that it may change, and because again, and I get asked this, like, if someone comes up and says, "Hey, man, we love your stuff, we love your style, and we want to do something with it," well, then it's like, okay, well, I'm not going to deny someone that wants to drive a dump truck of money up to my front door.
Oh, yeah.
But it changes in terms of then what we need to do to make that kind of partnership happen is we got to talk about where your role is and what your expectations are, what my role is and my expectations are.
Right.
And, anyone can come and say they want to work with me, but when we start changing that goal and I say, well, this is still what I envisioned for it, you came to me, not the other way around.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So, not to be a prima donna about it, but and particularly because of animation,
right.
And looking at that and stuff, it's like I would totally respect that, these guys are a hell of a lot better illustrators than I am. So they can look at some of my stuff and say, hey, we would suggest making some changes here and there. If it looks good, I'll go for it. But story, content-wise, I got to have a say in the matter.
And there lies the other part of all this. And this is what, for independents out there, if you're doing this, hey, listen up. Okay, because it's nice when they drop that big wad of money right in front of you and you start foaming at the mouth and drooling like a pit bull on a steak. However, there are two words that you should automatically remember: creative control.
Yep.
Those are the first two. Then the other part about that is property rights.
Yeah, it's looking at your property and saying to yourself, and I bring this up because it's really literally borrowing a page from freelance illustrators, is that if someone contacts me and says they want to buy your drawing, we have to determine the usage of it. Are you buying it out the rights entirely, or are you buying it, using it, and we're determining how and where you can use it, and maybe the rights revert back to me after a certain amount of time. That, in my opinion, was kind of what happened with stuff of like Wildstorm and Milestone, which I'm glad to see back. That they were hitting it, they were doing their thing, and they were approached by the big companies. Big companies said, here we go, we want to work with you, took their titles, started publishing, and then said, the numbers aren't meeting what we need them to meet.
Right.
So we killed them. Boom, all of a sudden your dream is dead.
Yeah.
And you got a fat stack of cash for it. But to me, that's where it's that whole thing of, okay, well then let's agree here that if you cancel the series, then it comes back to me, and they're my property, and I can go run with it.
Yep, exactly. And it's funny that you would mention Milestone, because the one thing that I would say this, Dwayne McDuffie, God rest your soul.
God rest him, man.
Yeah, the one of the things that he did do once everything kind of fell apart is they took him on, and the next thing you know, he made a resurgence for the Wesley rodent, and but more importantly, some of the greatest arcs for Warner Brothers animated, Static, and and then the Justice League turned all that around to where now all of a sudden, now you got them seriously looking at a Justice League real action movie.
Yeah.
Some people will still want to say, and I hope to get Mr. Hudlin or somebody from Milestone onto this show to discuss the early days of when they were first approached. And some people are calling them sellouts. They were not sellouts. They were smart.
Yeah, because they still were doing their own thing. I mean, they were still telling their own stories. They were just telling it within the DC universe. And the term sellout to me is an abused term.
Mm-hmm.
It's that, again, you don't know what my goal was and what, my mission was. You may call it a sellout. I may call it I achieved my goal.
Right.
So, I don't know. I think it's a harsh term. To me, I followed them when they came out and read their stories, and they were still doing their own thing. It just had DC's logo on the top.
Exactly. And the other part of all that is what most of those who were on the outside looking in, it was a collaboration. Basically, it was still Milestone doing it, but they were using DC's apparatus to get it out there, and basically it was a win-win, for DC.
And that's what I was saying is that the big companies, they're looking for the indie guy that is basically pre-made. They have a large following. They have numbers that they've proven that, hey, we can probably work with this.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of ties back to what we're saying is that, if that is your goal, then you've got to really push your stuff out there and get those numbers going if you want them to even pay attention to you.
Exactly. And now, and I know we're getting really deep into this, which is good, which is a good thing, is for our viewers, this is the business side of it all and everything, and and talking with numbers, how it is a numbers thing, because ever since Diamond pretty much slammed the lid on independence with that magic number.
Yeah.
And now I can, most of them are on the outside looking in, because now there isn't really another secondary distributor to go through. I mean, although I find it funny, I find it awfully funny that the big two are no longer under Diamond. They got their own distribution service, but Diamond still uses the same apparatus to regulate everybody else. And I was, if I were the rest of you all, I would be having pardon my French, a big fat bitch fest, because now all of a sudden, they're not, those two are really not in the equation anymore. And scary part of all this now is with Amazon buying Comixology, I see them doing the exact same thing. So
I've got buddies that they've worked for all three of the major titles, Image, actually 4 if you count Dark Horse.
Yeah.
And they still had a hard time getting through Comixology's doors, and it's rough. Hey, I want to throw out also that anyone else is listening. If you guys have a Twitter feed, if you look up at Comix Lawyer,
okay.
That's Caitlin D'Amata, and she's an attorney, and she dispenses lots and lots of comic book legal advice, and it's good stuff about a lot of stuff that we're talking about here.
Okay, cool. In fact, it's a good thing you would mention that, because maybe I can hit her up.
Definitely.
Yeah, for a potential interview on the show, because therein lies, especially now. It's funny you bring that issue up, because as of late, the big two have been on a rampage, as it were, that every time somebody uses their stuff, they it's almost like a legal ninja SWAT team comes out of nowhere and is ready to start clamping down. They're so worried about their property.
Yeah, and like I said, working with with like companies like matter of fact companies like Zatarans and all these I understand the importance of maintaining an intellectual property,
right?
But to me there comes a point where you're like, man, really you're gonna bust me for drawing a $25 portrait of a character or something,
right?
Like that. You don't have anything better to do,
right?
You're gonna be the money right out my pocket right here for the sale.
Yeah, I mean, and it's I find that hilarious to no end, because in the end that is free advertisement for them,
Yeah, and it's and again, free advertising or not, it's that's not where the bulk of their revenue goes. Now I can understand, and we've talked about this as well, where it's like if I'm taking and then I'm going to go take my drawing of Spider-Man. Say I recreate Amazing Fantasies cover, and but I'm going to draw one of the newer Spider-Man versions of it, like Ramos. But I'm doing it in the Amazing Fantasy style. And I decide to myself, I'm going to start putting that on posters, but I'm going to start putting it on mouse pads, and T-shirts, and everything like that. I can see you might have a point at this point that I'm taking your intellectual property,
right?
And even though I'm redrawing it, I mean the Obama poster is a classic example of that. His poster, that poster sold is an iconic image, and it's sold thousands upon thousands of copies.
Right.
But the photograph that it was based off of was someone else's property, an AP photographer, and he won. So you just, I guess, got to kind of keep your head about it in terms of, if I'm doing a quick sketch of something like that, you're good, man. You're just buying original art.
Right.
But I'm taking that and then I'm starting to make prints.
Right.
Like that. Yeah, you're starting to push the envelope there, and probably not in a good way.
Yeah, and there lies the whole thing, because you can go to a convention nowadays and you will see,
Great artists. That's all they do is prints.
Yeah, and of this doesn't so, and I wish I could have it to where somebody would find our stuff great enough to where they would want to do a print of something, and I mean
I wish someone found my stuff and said, like one of the big guys like DC or Marvel came and said, we got to shut you down. Your book is, you're
causing us problems.
Exactly. So that way I can draw a lot of that little man sympathy towards me and say, look at the big guys trying to put the little man down. Well,
it's funny. I mean, it's been like that for the better part of 60 years.
Yeah.
But they'll say, oh, we've then all of a sudden, once again, their League of Ninja SWAT team comes out of nowhere. And the courts believe them, there lies the whole crux of the situation. And to me, it won't be until you get a Matrix type situation in the comic book industry.
Yeah.
Will things change? But speaking of books, we've been going so in so many different directions here. What is your book?
Oh, my book is called Matilda, and the elevator speech of it is the firstborn child of Lucifer, and the leader of all of his armies decides that she's going to sell her soul to God and get out of hell.
Oh.
That whole situation, and God puts her in the body, or incorporates her as an 8-year-old, and says, if you want to get into heaven, you've got to stop your dad from destroying all of existence, learn what it means to be a human being, and why I favored humans so much, and you got to pass the 3rd grade. Fail any of those tasks.
I think it'd be easier seeing him.
Well, so yeah, that's the general gist of it. And I had started the book in 2002, I want to say, and had gotten up to about the 4th issue when Hurricane Katrina hit, and I was prepping and had all my gear ready to go to a show in Atlanta, and it all went underwater. Ooh. And I lost all the original art. I lost about 3 portfolios worth of art and digital files on the disc and all of it, so I had to start over.
Oh, that is a bummer.
It is. So yeah, I just finished compiling the first 2 issues into a single book now. So, and I don't know. I look at it as a blessings in terms of I know more now than I did then. I can afford more now than I did then. When I originally wrote the scripts, I had to take a bunch of pages out because I couldn't afford that many pages to print. And well, now I'm a little bit better off. So I was able to put those pages back in so the books have more art and the original stories as I intended to tell them. So it's all good. You know, I just enjoy doing it. So yeah, it was a bummer, but you know, now in a lot of ways I look at it as it was kind of a blessing because now I get to tell the books the way I wanted to tell them.
Right, which is a good thing. And now the funny part about all this is, you know, you're taking it from a religious standpoint, and you know, it's been my experience when you start crossing that line, you know, you either get some people
love or hate it.
Yeah, you either love it or hate it, or you get or you'll get somebody who won't say you're gonna burn in hell, you know, and then and for me, we live in a society where the slightest little thing there's got to be some kind of drama type issue, you know. So you know, some religious Republican right wing whatever, you're promoting Satanism.
Well, and that's the thing, and I've actually encountered that from being at shows, and it came up as a topic of discussion with the recent events in France and stuff like that. And that's what I stress to people. And because she's the narrator of the story, and she even refers to it in a way is that it's not about religion, it's not about a specific religion. Now, I'm referring to a lot of Catholicism because I'm a recovered Catholic. But so I have that as an easier frame of mind. But the book is about faith, and that's what it is. You can have faith. There's people that their faith is in banks. That bank's going to be there when they go Monday morning to get their money out. So people have faith in some of the strangest things. There's a bunch of people, thousands of people out there that have faith that Seattle is going to win today, and it's just one of those things. You know, people have faith. So my book is about faith, and it centers around believing in greater things and more about, you know, that you can make a choice to do the right thing, and that even though no matter what your belief system is really, you know, there are people that take it to an extreme, and that in general, you know, killing people is bad. It's just a bad thing to do, and it doesn't take an almighty being. It shouldn't take an almighty being to tell you that. So that's kind of where I'm going with it. So when people bring up a lot of the religious aspects of it, it's not about a specific religion or mocking it or taking one side. It's more about where you take faith in doing the right thing and being a human being, a compassionate human being. And now see that which is a good thing, you know. You know, there seems to be in these days of times where you don't get those kind of themes in mainstream publishing. You know, you know, and this is why, folks, we bring this. You know, this is why you should check out the independents, because they give you more beyond the capes, the superpowers, and everything else. They give you a more of a what's the word now? Personalized. That's it. That's a new that's a new hit word today. They give you a more personalized here we go, and I'm trademarking it now. Personalized reading experience. There you go.
Okay.
That is trademarked by Ron Jenkins.
There you go. Now, Now, if anybody else says anything, they said it. No, you didn't. I did.
You owe Rod a penny.
There you go. True. Oh, there's a couple of pennies with a couple of, but so for Matilda, and it sounds like there could be a couple of humorous couple of humorous aspects into it as well.
Oh, I actually play it a lot for the humor side of it. It's primarily humor and kind of that dark sort of twisted humor. It's like, because she's incorporated and she has this form of an 8-year-old girl, but she has all of her memories and experience and everything. So yeah, it touches on a lot of that fish out of water kind of humor, where she is, this century-old being, and she's being taught algebra. She's like, what the hell is this? I don't like this. Why is this so important to being a human that I understand algebra? So, I really focus a lot on that kind of the humor side of her having to just kind of learn, what it is to be a compassionate human being, particularly since she was this evil being for all of her existence, and that's all she knows.
Right.
Can people change? It's
I don't know.
Hitler asked for forgiveness on his deathbed. According to the rules,
right,
he could have been given that. So can a person change, and how do they learn how to change?
You know what? If you could write a book on that one, brother.
Exactly.
I
do a comic off of it. I've actually had a lot of parents come up to me at shows that were fans of the book and said the same thing, that when you think about it, it is a lot like when a parent is raising their own child and the value system that they're trying to put upon this person. How does that child learn? Where do they learn it from?
Right.
That kind of stuff. So yeah, I take a lot of the humor of that, of her trying to understand why she can't carry a gun on the schoolyard, and it's like
conceal and carry.
Yeah, it's like I have copious amounts of gun shells, her fighting demons and stuff like that. So I really, I approach a lot of the human side of it, and really heavily humor influenced, and lots of gratuitous violence, and she has a potty mouth. So people are like, "Oh, my child's a 3rd grader. She'd love this." No.
Exactly. And then also the parent opened up. Oh my God!
Exactly. It's like, what in the hell did I just buy? And I tried to warn you, it's not for kids. That's why the parental advisory is right there at the top corner.
Oh yeah, this is not for kids, but it's a kid. You're gonna, and all of a sudden you're gonna burn in hell.
Then I'm back to burning in hell. My goal is I have a water cooler maybe set up for a corner office. So I'm okay with it. It's no regrets.
Yeah. Now, how long? Now, for you, when you are producing your book, do you do it traditionally with the comic book boards, or are you a digital guy now?
Well, it's funny that you say that. Tying back to when we were talking about, do a physically print, digital, or both, I draw them on boards because that's a sale. People want to buy the original.
That's true. That's true.
And but I also love digital and have been a fan of digital since the 90s, actually, when I found out that Brian Bolland has been a digital artist, British Southpaw, folks, digital artist since the 90s.
Wow.
And so I do take the boards, I draw them in blue line, and then I can scan them in. And then sometimes I'll traditionally ink, but every now and then I want to do a patch to something. So I might do it digitally. I combine both aspects of it. So if someone buys my art, I'll give them the patches that I may have drawn, and then I'll give them like a printout of what the page looked like when it was done. So they get this nice whole thing as well. So again, I'm thinking what am I going to do with these boards after I'm done with them? So yeah, I draw traditionally, and sometimes I'll ink traditionally, sometimes I'll ink digitally. It just kind of depends. Whatever gets me from point A to point B.
I got you. Now, how do you, getting back to more so the nuts and bolts of of everything. How do you get to the? How do you keep track of your sales, the nuts and bolts of everything?
Wow. Well, good question.
I have that. I do that a lot.
Amazon has, of course, for the Kindle side of it, they've got a nice little graph that tells me what the sales are. Someone buys stuff off my website, then I have software that keeps track of my sales from there.
Right.
PayPal and things like that.
Right.
But that's actually kind of interesting because Comixology, as I understand, doesn't provide that information. So,
so how do they? Okay.
How do I know how well my book is selling? Particularly if someone comes to me and says, "Yeah, we're not going to carry your title anymore. I've got nothing to show."
Right.
So other than the check, and I guess I can do the math myself. When you get, because I mean, well, when you think about it, they provide you the royalty check. The royalty check is going to be based off of a mathematical amount of how many sales that you've done.
Right.
I could do the math. I mean, if I want, and can figure out the sales for myself.
Right.
But so that's pretty much. There's a couple of different ways I can keep track of sales. Most of the time, it's me in a little notebook and a little tick mark.
Yeah, exactly.
Excel.
Yeah, exactly. So now, do you also go to Do you do the convention route?
I used to do it heavily. I've taken a break because I was in publishing, trying to put this book out, and I didn't go to a show and not really have nothing to show for it. But that's been a debate amongst the New Orleans Drink and Draw Society, which is the group of local New Orleans comic book guys that we get together about once a month and draw and shoot the breeze and talk bit shop. But I've been of a thing that, I don't know, the Wizard World thing, even the local ones, they've squeezed the local guys out a lot, and it's this big media thing. I'm much more for going to the indie cons. I'd like to do 8 in San Francisco personally. Because again, that's where my market is. The people that are going there aren't going to see the Firefly cast reunion. They're going there because they're looking for new stuff,
right?
Guys. So I've been looking a lot and finger on the pulse of a lot of the indie conventions. And if I can do just like one indie convention, and most of them are out of state, of course, one a year, then that's fine as far as I'm concerned.
Okay. Which makes a lot of sense. Okay, and now we're going to try. And remember, folks, if you got any questions, hey, hit us up at any given point in time. And let your voice be heard. We don't bite much. No, we don't.
No, but yes, there's always the biter. There's always a hair puller on the playground. So
but I mean, I would love to see how Matilda would handle that. So especially third grade little boys like her, pull her hair, whoosh.
Well, that's I've actually written the scripts all the way up to, I want to say, issue 8. But I mean, I'm combining them into story arcs for more of that trade kind of thing.
Right.
And so yeah, she gets to deal with, because she's never experienced that. What happens when the kid is crushing on you.
Okay.
So yeah, it's not all violence.
Oh, I mean, I can just see it now. Yoink! I will have a demon swallow your soul.
Nice, yeah, it's gonna probably be like some, nice little anime gun like stuck in the kid's face.
Yeah, really.
Station here, is there something you're trying to tell me? Otherwise, I'm about to take you out.
Okay, so where do you see yourself? I mean, because for me, to me that going so well, then all of a sudden, a blasted hurricane touched.
Catastrophe.
Yeah, just up.
That's what it took to take me out, and I'm still here. So.
Well, you know what? Luckily for you, it was a catastrophe. For us, what slowed us down was 9/11 and year-round schooling.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, no, I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to kind of keep things sort of written in pencil still. Is that because I mean, I didn't see that this is where I would be in 10 years time. So
right.
My goals are kind of keeping them short, easily attainable. So it's like I'm already cranking on the next trade. That's my next goal, is to get that one out, and got things backed up a lot more easier, and like to think I'm a little wiser than when I started. So I'm going to keep the goals open and we're going to just crank out the books until, until I can't crank them out anymore.
I got you. And
pay someone to crank them out for me.
Hey, when you're able to get to that point, then hey, you've got it. You're pretty much big time. So now, where can folks find Matilda?
Oh, I'm all over the place. You can find me at my website, voodoo-maverick.com.
Mm-hmm.
If you just Google my name, Tedd Walley with 2 D's and Ted, it'll show up. You can find me on Twitter at Matilda Comic. You can find me on MySpace, Matilda, the Forces of Evil versus the Third Grade. So yeah, I'm all over the place, man, as far as the social media goes.
Okay, cool. And we have been having a very in-depth and lively discussion with Tedd Walley with Voodoo Maverick. Okay, he's all over the place. That's how I found him. I found him on Facebook. And
yeah, Indie Comics Facebook page, Indie Comics on Facebook. I'm the moderator, so my door's always open to anyone that wants to knock.
Oh, okay. And speaking of, and that's one of the things that I wanted to get onto about the page. What made you start that up in the first place?
The same reason you're doing this podcast, brother. There wasn't out there. There wasn't a voice.
Okay.
And so I wanted to create a voice for the indie guys. And even if it's just to network with other indie people and saying, hey, this guy over here is pretty kind of cool. And you hit up friendships out of it, relationships out of it. So give it a voice so that anyone can come and join the group and see the new stuff that's out there, man.
Okay, cool. Okay, and on that note, viewers, go and I know half of you all are on Facebook. I know it. I can hear you bleeding, but go. I mean, if you are supposed to be a true comic book fan, go out there, check it. Go there. Just like you said.
The slogan of the group is "Come see the next big thing before it's the next big thing."
There you go. And for those of you who are looking for return on investment, think about it like this: if you get that first copy of this, and all of a sudden they blow up, you have one of the original. You all of a sudden now somebody says, "I got this. I can do that." No, then all of a sudden you just go, bam, trump card.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden some
shop right there.
Yes, somebody's got this look on their face, literally. But the exactly. But it's about voices. They're out there. Sometimes you can't hear them. That's why Tedd Walley with independent comic creators. This is why us with lip service to amplify that voice. So that way you can see it, hear it, and then hopefully, if it's to your liking, buy it. But at the very least, before you just go, I don't like it, try it. Okay.
Most of the time, it's free to read some of their stuff. A lot of it, my stuff is online. Most of the book is online. You can read it, kick it around. And if you like it, buy a copy.
Right.
If you want to find out the ending, you got to buy a copy.
Right.
Put in the last 5 pages on purpose.
There you go.
But all the indie guys are like that, and go see it. And if you like it, then buy a copy of it.
Exactly. Unlike the mainstream publishers, you don't get to try it.
No.
It's either you buy it, you're stuck with it, and if it's not to your liking, you just wasted a good $3, $4, $5. And right about now, these days and times, that's either close to or a gallon of gas. Take your pick.
Well, yeah, and that's what I tell people all the time and stuff like this is that when you think about it, your product, whatever your comic is, it's fighting for discretionary income. That you're literally going to have someone that's staying there saying, how much money can I part with and still make the rent? So that's part of it. Is that you're trying to fight for their attention, but you're also trying to fight for that discretionary income. So
Yeah.
you gotta love what you do, and you gotta put it into it. If that's what your goal is to get that dollar out their wallet.
Exactly. Because contrary to what contrary to what Wall Street is saying, there ain't a whole lot of people getting ready to fork over. I don't care. Lower gas prices, my ass. They they want to say most people are discretionary spending. You know what? Lower gas prices just means, I can hold on to that much more just a little bit longer for the next big bill to come.
Yeah, exactly. All that money that they're saving is going towards bills that they were having problems paying.
So. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And so we're taking a page out of Wall Street's little ripper out of their little script. So, but this is going to conclude this particular episode of Lip Service. Okay. Remember that there will be something around here somewhere that says like and subscribe. Please do, and more importantly, share the show. Okay, once it comes up, share it. Okay, so because I know there's more than 9 times out of 10, there's more than one of you out there buying books. And, I mean, it would be nice if it was a whole herd of stampede coming through, but share the show. And spread the word. Come down to the Facebook page of Independent Comic Creators and join. So that way you get to see all the new upcoming stuff. Okay, and also I will have a link down at the bottom, so that way, if you want to go to Tedd's site or Facebook page. And wherever you can just simply go hop off after you view the show, of course, or if you're gonna do that, click it at least put it into a new. And for those of you who are tech savvy, just open up a new tab. Yeah. And for those of you who aren't tech savvy, you can do that. Okay. And as always, keep an open mind, and once again, help us keep this show running. Okay, luckily, we here, just like him, we produce, but everything is not always as rosy as we make it seem like. Luckily, we're able to actually we're still paying off the doggone credit cards for some of this equipment. Okay. So go down, and if be it $1, be it $5, and we will make certain that you either get an extra episode, a print, or some kind of thank you for your support. And also remember that with some of you probably listening to the actual podcast. Okay, that it will only go up to a certain point. Okay, the video aspect is where you get all the other extra goodies, bells and whistles, like a book review, a rant, or looking at something going on onto some of our other areas that we've got stuff going on. So we have been talking with Tedd Walley of Voodoo Maverick. Okay, and Tedd, once again, thank you so much for being a part of our show.
No, my pleasure, brother. Thanks for having me on. It's always been a blast. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and let's keep doing some comics out there, guys.
Oh yeah, exactly. And therein lies the whole crux of the situation. And for you all, remember, keep an open mind. Always, if go out there, before you screw your face up, say you don't like it, try it. And from here, I will come back with a little something else about either upcoming show or probably more than likely a book review. I don't know. I would just simply say, as the wind blows, so will I go. And so we'll be back with final thoughts. Tune in next time.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you. We are celebrating the birth of this nation. And the funny thing is, I woke up this morning with the missus, and we started talking,
she was wondering first of all, why was I sleeping so late and why I stayed up so late last night. Because I'm like, well, I'm off. Okay. And we get onto the subject of about what African about the fireworks that have been the low level ordinance that's been going off around here since 3 weeks ago, and part of it that has irked us is does any of these people firing off these things actually know what's the reason behind it? Why are we celebrating? Okay, and I know for those of you who will say, well, we're celebrating the birth of this nation and the freedoms. Okay, are we truly free? First off, if you've got somebody telling you what God you can worship, where you can be in your stature of life because of the color of your skin, if you cannot love who you wish to love, be it same sex or whatever, are we truly free? Now, and also, you have almost over a dozen certain people trying to vie for the seat of the President of the United States. And half of them, God bless the system that the founding fathers set up, are products of a system to where the words were supposed to be all men are created equal. Now, if that is true, why are these same people who because of their ancestors wanted true equality and freedom now wish to legislate those freedoms away via saying, oh, we can't afford it or it is immoral? First of all, I have a great disdain for somebody to try to force their religion, their views, their morals upon me. Okay, equality is equality, regardless of. There's supposed to be one of the main tenets of the Constitution in the Bill of Rights, one of the amendments, separation between church and state. Church is church, state is state, and never the two are to meet. That is one of the reasons why there is such a furor over the phrase God in God we trust on all of our currency. Separation of church and state. Furthermore, if these so-called zealots within this particular party, Republicans mainly, are so Christian-like, well, take a page out of, if you kind of read out of the Bible, and don't make me go there, I will bring my Bible and say this. Christ says, love the person, hate the sin. Furthermore, with all these things that are going on, it's all part of what's supposed to come down the pike anyway. So instead of fighting it tooth and nail, rejoice in it. And do what you got to do to try to convert souls. Okay, you ain't got to tell nobody that, because the more you tell somebody they're immoral, the more they're gonna tune you out. Now, furthermore, they're talking about how they want to redo this country. Redo this country for what? I mean, if you're gonna redo it, how about redoing it? One moment. You have got to be kidding me. Really? Mm-hmm. Oh, it never fails, people. It never fails. But if, where was I? Oh yeah. If you're looking to redo this country, how about this? It took a great Republican, and to me, one of the only Republican worth mentioning over the last 200 some odd years, took the words "all men are created equal" and put that to heart. Thus, the slaves were freed. How about that? All men, well, that should be changed now. All people are created equal. So now, if these zealots get into office and with all their changes, then how about this? We make a movement to where we rephrase this to where the real truth of the Constitution is all white men are created equal because they're the ones who set up everything. They're the ones who made these laws. And when they thought up these laws, they weren't thinking about anybody else but themselves, which seems to be the tenet for being a Republican these days. As long as you get yours, fine. Screw everybody else. Now, so from here, as especially for African Americans, while you are having a hissy fit over the Confederate flag about what it represents, how about having more of a hissy fit about the hidden context of what the Constitution and the Constitution amendments and the Bill of Rights actually have, and keep pressing for true equality, regardless of sex, creed, gender, race, physical disability, mental disability, sexual orientation, gender. How about that? And my wife hit the nail on the head, because until everybody can say they have that, why should even be pledging allegiance to a flag? First off, that's idol worship. You know, if most of you want to be sitting up here talking up, you want to sit here and thump Bibles and preach Christianity, I say this: the flag should be changed to "I pledge allegiance to the principles of the United States of America." That's what it should be.